What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today, it is time that we discuss the 2024 Ohio Senate election, because everyone, it is official. What we've been hearing for a couple months now about the Ohio Senate election, well, it's just happened. Secretary of State Frank LaRose, very popular guy, just announced his candidacy for the 2024 Senate election in the great state of Ohio. And like we've said, this isn't much of a surprise, but this does make things way more interesting in the great state of Ohio. And it leads us with a couple, actually for once, some good options for the Republican side. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join the channel, which is the best way to support the daily content we all know and love. That's right. Just $1 a month, you can join the channel. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. So like I said, Frank LaRose just got in to the 2024 Ohio Senate election. Frank LaRose is launching a Senate bid on Monday with a hard road ahead. He has to defeat two wealthy GOP rivals for the right to challenge one of the Democrats' most savvy red state incumbents, Sherrod Brown. LaRose is Ohio's Secretary of State since 2019 and is the third major candidate to jump into the primary to take on Senator Sherrod Brown next fall. He follows Bernie Moreno, a car dealership owner, and State Senator Matt Dolan, part of the family that owns the Cleveland Guardians. Yeah, so Moreno and Matt Dolan, they got some moolah behind them. They do got a lot of money. And this is the one thing LaRose doesn't have going for him. He doesn't have the money like Moreno or Dolan have. But this is the key catch. He does have the name recognition across the state of Ohio, and fairly positive. Not as much as Brown, of course, because Secretary of State elections are not the highest in the world for how much people really care about them, but it's still important enough where people will at least look at it sometimes. You know, he has won the state of Ohio statewide by large enough margins, and I know midterms don't mean much, but he does have the name recognition to take on both these candidates, and then possibly Brown. But again, the one question mark is, can he get the money? That's been a big problem for Republicans in some of these elections. They gotta find a way to get some of this money, because McConnell's not gonna help. And the NRSC, the problem is they're out of money. So you're screwed. You gotta get somebody that can raise funds, but also is good on the issues. Now, here's the good news for Brown, at least, or I should say LaRose. The state of Ohio is shifting more and more Republican. It just is. And this idea that, oh, this is just going to end up like, say, what's an example? Maybe 2018, that Brown's going to win by a couple points. Here's the difference. 2018 was a blue wave. That's the obvious one. But second of all, this isn't a presidential election with high turnout. And Ohio, it doesn't have the ticket splitting it once did. It not as much as other states, mind you. It never was the biggest ticket splitting state compared to states like Montana and Maine. It ticket splits, of course, but for federal elections such as Senate and President, there's been ticket splits for circumstances, yes, but for competitive elections, it doesn't ticket split that often. Or I should say, that much compared to like Montana. So the biggest problem for Brown is he's going to have to outperform Biden by what, 9, 10 points to win the state? If this was Montana, that's doable. But Ohio in the year 2024 with high turnout and Trump on the ticket, you're asking for a lot to be done by Brown, who he's a good candidate for the Democrats, but I think he is. You look at his past results, 2 of the victories came against or in blue waves, and the other one came in 2012 when Obama won the state by 3. And he only outperformed Obama by 2 points. So you do the math. Well, he still needs to outperform Biden by 7 more points, according to that at least. In a more polarized environment, I don't know about that. But the good news for Republicans is that it is becoming more and more of a Republican state. And even the national Republicans, the NRSC, and even some of McConnell's people, it sounds like they're not getting involved that much in this primary. As national Republicans have shown, they're willing to publicly wade into messy Senate primaries. Look at Montana, look at Indiana, look at potentially Arizona, to boost their preferred candidates. And LaRose said he received the encouragement to run from party leaders in D.C. But in a CBS interview this week, Senator Steve Daines, the chair of the party's Senate campaign arm, said the committee would not be getting involved in the Ohio primary. When you have 3 candidates that any one of them could win the general, we don't have to stay up at night worrying about that, Daines said. So I do question the logic here that if you're not worried about Ohio, why are you worried about West Virginia? That's my only issue with this. Other than that, yeah, relatively speaking, I do agree that with the state of Ohio, I actually think that of the 3, Dolan would actually do the worst, but we'll get to that. I still think all 3 would win, but when you look at where Brown does outperform Democrats, it's not in the Cincinnati suburbs. It's not in the Columbus area. Yes, he does outperform there, but his biggest overperformance comes from northeastern Ohio. It comes from the Obama-Trump voter. That's where he outperforms Democrats the most. Not just, in the Columbus area, which all these Dolan people, they say he'll do better in Columbus. Yeah, but he runs the risk of collapsing in, Mahoning County, in Trumbull County, those northeastern counties. I don't care that he's from the area. I don't care if he's from Cleveland, which is close enough, sure. But if he's running a campaign focused on winning the Columbus area, well, that's not where Brown's going to campaign. That's not where he outperforms. It's northeastern Ohio. So I think LaRose or Moreno, they may do a point worse in Columbus, but I think they would do far better in northeastern Ohio compared to Dolan. I really do think that. Because those 2, they do got an appeal. I would say Moreno maybe a tad more, and Dolan would probably do, or LaRose, he would maybe do a bit better in, say, the Cincy area, maybe a tad better in Columbus. But I think Moreno and LaRose in the situation both would do better than Dolan in these Obama-Trump areas. I think Moreno a bit more, but that's just my opinion. I don't care who the nominee is. I can care less. If it's not Dolan, I think we got it. Because Dolan does run that risk of his anti-Trump stuff, well, that may turn off some Trump voters. I'm just saying. And with LaRose and Moreno, they do appeal to a lesser extent to some of these Trump voters. Now, Moreno does have the advantage of he just got endorsed by Vance. He did just get endorsed by Lee Zeldin. And it's looking more and more likely that Moreno's going to be endorsed by President Trump. So that's the one problem that LaRose has to deal with. I think this is going to become more so of, will LaRose or Moreno win this? That's my opinion, at least. Again, could it change? Yeah. But I think it's between LaRose and Dolan, because the problem with Dolan is the anti-Trump vote in Ohio, it's like 20%. That's what he got last time. It was like 22% or whatever it was. Well, both the candidates there's what, 78% of the vote up for grabs? One of those two is going to get far more than Dolan. So that's the problem. Dolan has been critical of Trump, you know, attacking him for the 2020 election, the January 6th stuff, and Trump doesn't necessarily like him. So it is going to be between LaRose and Moreno at the end of the day, at least. So hopefully Moreno does get the Trump endorsement, or LaRose. Because then at that point, I think the race is kind of just settled. But it does look like Trump is settling towards Moreno. We just got to see what happens. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below. Subscribe. Share with your friends. Hit that little bell. Follow social media accounts in the description down below. And of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.